What's up, everybody? iRisk back here with yet another video. And although I haven't posted in a long time on any channel, I will be posting a couple of base build videos, this being the first and the next being my risky streamer base design, aka like the circle base that I build. But as you can see, this is the latest game version of the risky 2x1, and the reason that I'm making these base build videos, even though I absolutely despise making them, is because of the fact that we hit 3,000 subs on Twitch, and then on top of that we hit 4,000 subs for the next base build video. And I said 3,000 for this one, 4,000 for the next, and I get asked pretty often, pretty frequently, how to build these base designs. I know for a lot of people these won't really appeal to you, but these are the bases that I build as a solo, duo, trio, and I managed to build them with the materials that I gather, and I usually do, if I end up on a server for more than a couple days, end up building it to this state right here. But to start and show you guys everything, first if we go through the airlock at the front door, you're going to enter the first depot area. So drop boxes, more drop boxes, except this one's not windowed off so that you can access your crude oil smelter. And then we're going to go up, and then we have more drop boxes, then we go up, drop boxes, and then our first set of turrets, as you can see. And then from there it's mirrored on both sides, but except for this is high qual because it's the side that goes to core. But let's go up here. 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, and then we have the shooting floor. The entire premise behind this base design is that it has enough layers to where if you're getting pummeled straight to your core, you can still fight back, but at the same time it has a lot of the strength to where getting pummeled is not immediately cheap. One of the issues I have with a lot of the base designs that I see that people are building is not only that are they on YouTube, so well, I mean this one will be now, so good luck to anybody that learned this design from my stream. Not only are bases on YouTube, but pummeling the core is usually the cheapest part. They get all your stuff, and then they get to decide whether they want to go for your bedrooms or not. Whereas this base design, because there's so many boxes spread across the entirety of the first and second level, you can move your loot around, and that's not something I'm trying to encourage that much. That being said, it is an option for you to move your more important loot that will prevent them from using raid mats. Let's say you can move all your raid mats into one of these boxes. You can window them off. Not that'll actually help you if they get TC, but if you have externals, then you should be all right. So just over here, we're going to be starting with a lowered triangle and then 2 raised squares. And all this is a extremely simple 2x1. Place another thing here. And let's get a door down. Then from there, you'd probably think to place the TC, but because this is Rust in 2023, we've got to make the shelf first in order to properly place the TC so we can get 5 boxes instead of 4. And then once we have that, we can upgrade here, add our garage door, which honestly now you don't even need to place your garage door that early, because they made it so you can place garage doors over top of boxes and bags and of anything to like. This is just to show you what the core can do. I'm not necessarily showing you the perfect order of operations you're going to place everything down, but this is a general schematic for the beginning. And then from this 2x1, we will raise some foundations back here, but we're gonna have this one lowered, and then the rest can be raised. We're gonna make a little jagged pattern just like so. Add the walls on both sides, because both these areas are gonna be shelves, as you probably saw in the beginning showcase. A bunch of triangles. And then we're gonna make sure our door is facing outward, and that we get a half wall down here. And here we'll place our furnaces. Of course, if you wanted to stay in the 2x1 stage a little bit longer, you can also fit a reasonable amount of furnaces in there as well. Let's put down 1 shelf, And the reason early on you might only want to put down one shelf is plainly and simply because if you have to put on a research table, you have to put down a mixer, you're going to need the extra space on the right hand side. You don't necessarily want to fill that space in right away because it's very usable and necessary area because you can't really place anything here. But let's say that we don't need a research table. We're going to build out the base pretty quickly, so we won't need it for a mixing table. Then we can move forward onto this step, which is just adding foundations here, upgrading them like so, adding a wooden door frame here, some more roofs, a double door spot right here. We'll go through and upgrade it all. And the main reason the door was faced like this in the beginning is for the simple reason that it creates an airlock. Keep in mind, this airlock is extremely vulnerable to this, where if someone breaks out the wooden frame, it kind of screws you over. So you can upgrade it to stone and then pick it out later. It's just kind of a pain in the ass too, and I don't tend to stay on this very long. But before we're going to do any real upgrading to this section of the base, we are going to honeycomb off the top. And then add triangles. And then just generic honeycomb. So from here, we're just gonna add these walls like so. And then a frame on the right and a window on the left. And we'll add the roof. Obviously, this is easily picked out, but the idea is that this is a even more temporary than the door down yonder is you should be getting this done fairly quickly. Where you're moving on from this fairly quickly, and by that I mean adding these, which will be, as you saw before, those loot rooms that also have the ramps installed as well. We don't actually even need to use a Obviously, the ramps are not super necessary super early on, but when you do end up placing these ramps, you should make them one. Oh wait, this should always be metal. Whenever you do end up placing these ramps, they should be metal for the plain and simple reason: if these are stone and someone does break this wall, this actually happened to me in an online raid. I could not replace this wall only because this is stone. If this is metal, you can easily replace it. So, add our little turret pods. Go across. And then just do the opposite of what's on this side. It's basically mirrored for, like, this base design is very, very much so mirrored. Okay, and then we will add a temporary window here. And if you don't want to do the window, you can just speed run. Well, you don't even need to speed run it. You can just put a frame here and then put that there. Then you don't even need the window, right? It's blocked on both sides. Of course, like I mentioned before, this is supposed to be very short term, and the way that you fix this is just by upgrading it and then flipping it. And there you go, Bub's your uncle. Another door here. And so this, once we add a little cheeky jump up, is you're gonna be your very temporary way up and out of your base. So now that we're at this point, let's focus on the honeycomb. Making sure to upgrade the stuff that we won't be able to reach later. This should not get walled off because this is going to be used for storage. So now we're going under, including what we just did here, we're going under the triangle of the ramps. So below the ramps is this. Go onto the same side. Do the same on this side. Remember to upgrade the okay. I mean, if you got a ton of extra high qual very early on, you should high qual it. but I'd recommend probably just sheet metal because it gets covered up pretty extensively. So sheet metal, stone, and on this side, as you guys saw with the crude oil smelter, we leave this open. So then triangles, just like so, and these will be metal, so no one can pick in. So if they're stone, they could pick in. And then we're gonna demolish this, upgrade those, break this, and replace that. Then from here, we're just gonna add some walls, some frames for both windows and doors, and a bunch of floors. I like to pretty much always spend my metal on roofs, plain and simply because you usually don't have enough doors or strong enough doors to merit people wanting to go through. You usually don't have enough or strong enough doors to make it so upgrading walls prevents people from going, like, trying to skip your doors, if that makes sense, right? If your doors are strong enough, they need to upgrade your walls. But if you have weak doors, people are just going to go through the doors, so why upgrade the wall, right? So I focus on the roofs because I don't want people to open multiple levels at once by going through the roofs. So then we add this, finishing off this side, which, if you notice something, this is just an exact mirror of what we had over here. It's just a perfect mirror, right? Obviously, to access the second level, we need to have garage doors instead of sheet metal double doors. The only reason that sheet metal double doors are so great early on is because of the flat part, or the this part at the top prevents people from being able to go through, as you might have noticed before. So now let's focus on the verticality of the base. Window, double door frame, window. Also, the reason I always end up metaling these and not stoning them is because if you ever put a armored double door on, armored double doors will last longer than a stone frame will. And I don't want to have to remember to do it later because it's a pain in the butt. So you just upgrade it now, you won't have to upgrade it later if you ever put on double doors instead of sheet. Okay, then all we do is the opposite. Okay, the window's over here, so the window goes here. Then you can do the opposite on this side of that side. And this is where more turrets go. Oh, this should be metal. I trolled. I should like going to the right. And then we'll just add these three here. Same on this side. Put our frames down for our garage doors. Roofs down for the roofs. And then opposite of the entrance, this part will be the door on both sides. And then half walls. Alright, add some sheet metal double doors to the top. Add some sheet metal double doors to the windows, or to the I don't even know what layer to call this, layer 2 or whatever. And then we'll add our frames. And these should prevent anybody from getting inside, and they're also really strong. So, you know, a lot stronger than just having windows there. Now let's upgrade the roof of our core. Put our little depot area down. More and more drop boxes everywhere we look. Oh, I forgot to do this side. Bruh. Nice doggo. So now from this point in time, okay, we have like all the verticality of the base finished, aka everything that needs to go up is as high as it needs to go, besides the shooting floor, which is kind of like something separate in my opinion. So let's build out these two triangles in each one of these sides, because it'll be annoying to place them later. And now let's focus on the bedroom. sides, window. And out all the roofing. Okay, as you can see, this is just like what we saw before with the bedrooms. And for these garage doors, you want to make sure they're flipped toward you when you place them. Sole reason is that, so E, you can do it through the wall, close off your thing. You can bait people in there. It is whatever. You can put a turret in there and open it after, so people won't be expecting it. You can, you know, just have your bedroom there and die at the bedroom. Maybe respawn in the center, close it off. If there's any loot inside, you know how it is. You should upgrade here because it is a very weak part. I usually want to just focus on showing you guys the design rather than the route you should take for upgrading, because I think that's really tedious and boring, but I will show that much. Make sure you upgrade the inner side walls because you won't have access to them anymore, to at least metal if you're gonna play on a server for more than a little bit. On this side, all inner side walls should be upgraded to metal if you have the mats to do it, unless you're in a rush or whatever else. And then, as you can see, this is the little footprint that we've got going on right now. So then we can focus on the shooting floor, except for the fact that at some point you probably should upgrade this. This is a very weak point of the base early on, and the way that you're going to solve that is a little thing I like to say: squares go on triangles and triangles go on squares. Squares go on triangles and triangles go on squares, aka squares will go here, triangles will go there. It's the best way to describe it. And metal, I think we have to metal this, right? Yeah, we have to metal this wall for doing this, because we won't have access to these later. And we do have access to these walls later because they're, yeah, right, just right out here. I always place floors to split up rocket splash damage. If they ever come a knocking through one side, it'll split up the damage quite a bit, because they have to choose either the lower level or the higher level, and every level in this base is utilized to have, it will at least have some level of loot that could help you defend. For the necessary honeycomb, you can always add, of course this leads into here, so you can always add these early on as well. These triangle honeycombs. Doing the same on the other side. I don't recommend walling yourself in, but I have no clip, so easy clap. And then from here, we are on the shooting floor. Let me fix this portion up just a little bit. And just showing you more of the same process, so you don't have to work as hard to remember. All right, then we go through here, and it's time to do just very, very basic. We can actually upgrade this too. You don't really need to do this, because it just, all it does is really increase stability, which you don't really need to do, but hey. And remember the rule. I don't know why anybody would be pummeling this side, but maybe they're weird. And then let's start adding triangles. Wait, no, I'm trolling. And all this is for the super most basic peek downs you've ever seen in Rust. All right, they've been around forever. Super simple. If you don't know them, hopefully you can follow this and understand the fundamental reason why around they work, which is just that the door opens one way when you flip it, and that prevents people from being able to get in. And then it's just a bunch of stone. Or just looks big now. Window frames. Before we move on to adding the roofs, I'll show you guys the footprint just a bit. Just like this. Let's move through here. Adding the door frames that we need to have in order for it to block people off from just being able to ladder door floor. And then, add the roofs. Now, remetalling these roofs as well. Early on, if you want to make them, you can. But this is going to be your shooting floor, and it's insanely important for the beginning of raid defense to have this, or to have somewhat access to this. Hence why on the other base design, or on the other base that's already built, you come over here, in certain sections I have turrets, and that's to block people off from running across, because I don't want people to have access to both sides, right? If this wasn't here, you could also put down a wall, just because separating the sides is a really good thing, because this base has layers, and having access to this doesn't give you access to this, right? You always want at least one side to fight from, so there's always a chance that you can, you know, clear out the slate. There's all these weird little peaks that your turrets can shoot through, by the way. Your turrets will do some weird stuff, like ankle shots through here and other wacky stuff in raids. And even if there was a raid where this was all open, this was all raid, they popped that wall before it was high qual or anything like that. They popped that wall, and that led to outside because I hadn't upgraded it that much. And the turret just started going ballistic on them through there. They tried to jump up through there, and they just got butchered. So it's little things like that that'll make a really big difference. There's not much else to it. It's just a bunch of boxes after this, and just upgrading to whatever you see fit. And then the only difference, I guess, you get these turret pods here that you can put down, and then there's a couple of places for helis, and you can obviously stack these if you want, but the upkeep's already pretty aggressive. So on this is like the end game. I've been on the server for 2 or 3 days now. I've been logging hours. It's like 18,000 metal frags, almost 3,000 stone, and 300 high qual. I think you can get a full day and then some of upkeep. But the important thing to remember about this base, or another important thing I should say, is that it's all from a 2x1, and it should be pretty comfortable to live in at almost every stage. There's a couple awkward stages, but I genuinely have a really good experience building up this base over time and dumping more and more resources into it. And I personally think it's a great design to live in. And even though it's, like I said, pretty expensive, you can just slap it down together with just all stone, and it's still relatively, it does the main purpose is that even if you get pummeled, you're spawning in your beds, you're grabbing your kits, maybe you'll have small boxes in there too with ceiling mats, you have a couple of externals to, you know, help out with building priv so that they can't just put a TC down. The base isn't super tall either, so that means your externals can reach the top of the base, which means that even if somebody does break your TC, they just can't go to the roof and replace, you know, their TC and take over your base build privilege. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is my 3rd or 4th time making it, and every single time it freaked out. But yeah, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your day, and an even greater tomorrow. Peace.